Okay, hello and welcome to week 2 of our Bourton on the Water Art Lift sessions. Today we're going to be making a green man. What's green man? Well, a green man is one of those mythical creatures that you sometimes see kind of on the sides of houses or in trees or that kind of thing. So what I'm going to do is first of all show you the finished one. Hang on, let me just turn this. Sorry. Very sorry about these camera skills, and also about the rain. The rain is lashing on my studio, so hopefully we won't be too distracting. Okay, so we have a few things from. Hang on, I'll just close the window. That will help. So we have a few things from the house again. Andy's knife, so don't tell him. Just a fork, a paintbrush, the scrubbier old paintbrush the better, and what else? We've got a bundle of leaves that I will have shown you in the photograph of things that you'll need. And also, in terms of a kind of useful tool, what I've got is a bit of a credit card, and all I'm going to do is I want some kind of bit of a tool. So I'm just going to cut that into a shape, and I'm going to just cut it round at the top. Where are we? There. That's a bit pointy. I'm going to do it again, just something a bit more shallow. That's it. Where is it? There's the thing. It's a little bit pointy, so I will spend a bit more time just getting it just a bit smoother. So if you had something like anything kind of with a rounded top, it just is going to help you to be a tool. It's a bit bendy, but it'll be fine. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just break the clay in half. We've done that before, where you just literally twist it in half, or you can use the old-fashioned method and just cut it in half. The next thing is just to kind of pat it to get rid of any little creases and things like we did before. And what we're ending up, what we want, is a kind of flat egg shape. Okay, so just something a little bit like that. And now I'm going to just smack it a little bit more. And the reason that we want an egg shape is because we want a head shape. So I'm just squidging it out with my hand, just kind of pinching it, but with all my finger and my palm, like that. So once we've got that down there, now you can just kind of push it out with your hand, or you can steal the rolling pin from the kitchen, don't tell Andy, or you can use a bottle if you don't have a rolling pin. And what you want to do is just to roll it a bit. It doesn't have to be a massive piece of clay, but it's just, it wants to have a thickness probably of, what would you say, a quarter of an inch, something like that. Where's the thing there? About that. So if this is my finger, if I use my little finger, gives you an idea. So a bit thinner than your little finger. And the reason for that is that we're going to kind of stretch the clay and do things to it. So we've got a kind of oblongish shape. I'm just going to roll it just a little bit wider, because I know I'm going to just shape that a little bit, and I'm going to need a bit more that way. Okay, so you may remember in the past, I'll just get a piece of paper, I do it on here. When we've looked at face shapes, okay, and you've had an oval, something like that, when there are children, I'll do it upside down so you can see. Children tend to put the eyes right at the top, and a nose, and then a big smile, that kind of a thing. But what you want to do is you want to use the kind of structural format that you see in heads and faces. So when we've done drawing before, this is the kind of thing we've done. We've had our eyes through the halfway line, the end of our nose halfway through that, and then our mouth halfway between there and your chin. So what that allows, and you have to excuse me because I'm doing this upside down, what that allows, oh crikey, is kind of eyes like this, the end of your nose kind of somewhere like that, and your mouth here. That chin would have been just a little bit more, but you get the drift. Okay, so that is the kind of thing that you're going for. And the reason that we all make mistakes of not having the eyes in the middle is because we just forget about the hair. Okay, so just think eyes in the middle. First of all, egg shape, then eyes in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to pop that down, and I'm just going to use the back of this paintbrush just to kind of help guide me so that I've got this kind of little kind of oval shape. I'm going to turn it that way because that's the chin and you're looking at it, I'm looking at it upside down. So again, the eyes are going to be in the middle, nose are going to be reaching at the end there, and the lips are going to be roughly about there. Okay. So the next thing is to start thinking about how this is going to work. So what I'll do, I think, is work it this way, because then you can see and I can see. I'm also going to bring it just a little bit closer so that we are in a little bit of a better position for you and for me. Okay, so now I'm thinking about how I want this to have a kind of roundness to it. And that is where our piece of newspaper comes in. So what you want to do is just kind of think about it first, is that this, we're going to just gently shape by just doing that with your fingers underneath, just tickling it out, just to help it to have a slight raise to it. I'm just going to put it down there, and you can see already, here if I put this kind of, put my hand underneath, I put that sideways, you'll see there's already a raise to it. So it's got a convex, that's the one, caves go in, convex shape to it like that. But that's just to show you where we're going with it. So what I'm going to do is just bring it back. So you don't need to do that bit, I just wanted to show it to you so you get the feel of where we were going with it. So the next thing I want to do is to think about kind of what's going to go where. Now, one of the things that you have is you have your other half of clay, but what you'll also have from last week is you'll have that extra bit of the stuff that you cut off. So with that extra stuff, remember a long time ago we've done pinch pots where you stick your thumb in and then just pinch it out like that. And then with your bowl of water, you can use your paintbrush and just dab some water in there and just go round and round and round and round and round. And this is how you're going to make up small amounts of slip to use as and when you want. And you can see already, there's the thing, you know, it's quite, you know, it doesn't take long for the water to mix with it and for it to thicken up to a custard kind of consistency. Okay, so I'm going to put that aside for the moment, but what I was going to say as well is one side of the paintbrush, try the other one, just in terms of working out what's going to be where. So I'm just going to do a line down the middle because it helps me kind of figure out where the eyes are going to be, and I'm just going to go kind of 1/2 inch either side, and that's where I'm going to start the eyes. And all I want to do is just to put in some eye shape there and in some nose shape there, just a little bit of a shape. Now I'm going to take a little bit of this clay, which is the other half of what we started with today, and I'm just going to make a carrot shape, and just going to smooth the back of that carrot shape. And where's my fork? Here. I'm just going to scratch that there. I'm going to scratch a little bit on where I'm going to put the nose. And here's my little pot of, there you go, you can see it there, little pot of slip. Just going to dab that on there. A lot of dabbing on there. And just give it a squidge down. Now it looks absolutely enormous at the moment, and I may end up taking quite a lot of that off, but in fact I know I will already, because I know that the shape will be just way too big. So where was this little thing that we made earlier? So you can use that, you can use your fingers, or you can use this just to kind of smooth the clay out as you're going along. I'm just going to shape into this nose. Going to use the end of this and push it just up into there, into that nose, just to make it a bit more nose-like. And just going to take off that extra bit there. Now, the other thing I want to do is to think about the eyes. Do I want them open or do I want them shut? I'm going to go for shut eyes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the knife, and I'm not cutting into it. I'm just literally pressing into the clay like that, because, oops, that's not great shape. So if you do something wrong, just use your finger and just smudge it out like that. So that's our nose, that's our eyes, which will be closed, and we're going to use not a huge amount on the lips, just a little bit like that. And we're going to, where's this? I'm going to use this, just a bit of a scratch there and a bit of a scratch there. The prongs on that fork are a little bit wide, so I'm feeling that I probably need to use the knife rather than the fork. There you go. Little splodge of that stuff on there, which is, yes, you remembered very well, it is slip, and slip is just runny clay and water. So just taking that bit and just smudging that down there, and it's just to give a little bit of a raised shape. Okay, we will do some work on that in a little while, but the main thing is just so that it's a little bit raised, but also joined in to the body of the clay that you have. And don't worry about it if you think, oh my lord, it's starting to look like the Hound of the Baskervilles. That's all right. Don't worry too much about it, because you're going to be changing things as you go along. Okay, so here on the nose, it's kind of sticking up like that. So what I'm going to do is just join it into the body of the clay there. Then you can use your finger or your little tool if your finger's not getting a good shape there. And that's going to be the beginning, okay? Not someone you'd like to meet on a dark night. Okay, so getting our little ball of, getting our bit of newspaper, and I'm just going to wrap it up into a kind of ball that I know is going to be kind of a little bit thinner on either end and a bit thicker in the middle. And I'm going to pop that down here. Now, at this stage, if you know you're going to be able to leave the clay for a period of time, then you can just leave it there. But otherwise, if you can put it onto a tile or a piece of board or a chopping board, anything like that, that would be great. I'm just going to do this one straight on here, just so that you can see what I'm doing. Right, so now I've got my main face here, and what I need to do is do a little bit of shaping. So this is the fun bit, where you want to just take your finger underneath and push out. So if I was to take, I'll just take another piece off like this and flatten it and explain to you exactly what I mean. So here we go. Piece of clay, finger underneath. Now as you start to push the clay, you're just making a hollow underneath, and you're pushing the clay out and stretching it. So what that's doing is it's giving you that kind of little raised bit. It's instead of adding clay on, and it's just a nice process to use here. Okay, next thing, I'm going to work down into the chin. I haven't left myself a huge amount of space here, so I'm just going to pinch it out a little bit, and I'm going to just push out where the lips are, and I'm going to just, I've got a cheekbone here. That's good, happy with that. And going up into the eye, and a cheekbone here. And we need a forehead. So coming up here, and I'm starting to just bring it straight up, so you can see what I'm doing, where my finger is, and you can see how that's coming along there. The thing about this is, don't be afraid of it. Don't think, oh, it's gone wrong. It's just take your time with it and have some fun. Because it is an interesting process, and it's an interesting way of making. Now, this fella looks at the moment like his brains are starting to ooze out of his head. So I'm going to pop him back down there. I don't even know whether it's a man or a woman yet, but what I can do is just kind of gently push back into there, smooth it out with my finger, and it makes it just that little bit round. Now, the other thing is the eyes. So I want a little bit just around the top of the eyes, like that there. Okay, just so we're getting kind of a little bit of a kind of feeling of the eyes going in there, and a little bit just underneath the eyes. And now I'm just going to go back in, and literally where the eyeball would be is I'm just going to go round there and just push it around, and do the same on the other side. Just a little round bit. Now listen, you've got your clay and you can do whatever you like with it. This is just a suggestion of what I would do. I'm just going to push in the bridge of the nose there, so we're going back in like that, and I can see my forehead here just needs to be brought back into line. And I'm also trying to not make this video a blooming half an hour like you had to endure last time. Anyway, I would play with that and just play with getting the shapes and spend some time on it to get it how I want, so that you're happy with it. Okay, and what I would do, I've had a look on Google Images, and if you Google green man, you'll get lots of images up there, so you can just have a look at that. And I might take a bit more off this nose. Okay, so I would, oh, I haven't touched the mouth yet. Okay, so coming down to the mouth, it does look a bit odd that there's only like just a strip there, but what's remarkable is this. Okay, so I'm taking the end of, where are we? There we go. I'm taking the end of the paintbrush, and I'm just going to just push in like that and just draw that up. And then I'm going to take the knife and just, I'm not cutting in, all I'm doing is just pushing, well, I suppose I am cutting in, but pushing the clay in and kind of flicking it out. And it's only a tiny bit. I don't want to have much on there. I'm not trying to create two separate lips, because as you know, when you have the lips together, like literally your own lips together, you know, they're not two sausages together. You just see it as a kind of flow of shape. So let's just do a little bit more there. Okay, and just smooth that out there a little bit. And then you can come back to using your little tool and just smooth it out like that. Okay, so that's the kind of basic premise. But I'm going to bring you on to the next bit now. So what I would do is I would just take that, looking a bit wibbly. I would just take that and put it to the side, and just let it not firm up, but just to dry a little bit while you start making your leaves. So again, just getting it into a ball again, so there are no creases in it, because they all scratch, sorry, not scratch, they all as the clay spreads, they tend to spread and kind of crack the clay open, which just means you need to smooth it again. So I'm just pushing the clay out, taking the rolling pin, whoops, and off we go again. Okay. And the rain stopped, so that's good. Okay, so these leaves can be a little bit thinner because your clay, that the body of work, as in the face, is you know, that's what's going to hold it together. So these leaves, I would say, are let's see, where's the thing that you can see? So there's my finger, and that's the clay. So it's about what, five, I don't know, I'm not very good on mil. Tell you what, got to measure. As one of my boys used to say, oh, you got the measurer. Okay, well, that's not going to be great. I've got another one here. Okay, let's see what that is. That is 5 mil. There we go, that's good. So we got the measurer. We know it's about 5 mil. It doesn't really matter how thick it is, but it's just, if it's very thin, it's going to be more brittle. Okie dokes. So bring on the leaves, and all you want to do is place them on here as tight as you can. And these are going to be the leaves that are going to go round. If they have a stalk on them like that, you don't need the stalk, just get rid of it. You just want the leaf. It's okay for them to be quite close together like that, because we're going to be cutting around them. So I'm not going to do the whole piece because I don't want to waste your time, but you're gently going to, gently but firmly, roll them into the clay there. And when you've done that, the easiest and best thing to do is, what's that there? Okay, just going to take that out. And again, it's okay for it to be a bit of a hole like that because we're going to cut those bits out. So I would have the whole piece of clay with leaves on it as crammed tightly as possible as you can. And from that, what you want to do is to just cut out a collection of leaves from there. Excuse me. And as you are making them, just put them to the side, okay? So just keep cutting them out, and then you will end up with a collection of leaves. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is, I hope you're all still awake now. Hope I haven't just woken you up. Okay, so using your knife or using the using the fork or using the knife, you can scratch all the side of the clay like that, and using your slip, you want to make sure that you have enough, and you'll just keep kind of dabbing it on and probably making a bit more, just mushing it about, dabbing it on. I've got a little bit extra here just to speed up the process. So here we go. Just going to lather that, slather or lather, one or the other or both on there. And the reason for this stuff is it's slip, it's clay, only this clay and only water. That's all mixed together. That's going to help everything stick together. So putting that aside and taking all the leaves that you've cut out. Look at me, here's one I made earlier. Yep. Okay. All right, and the thing with this is you want to start at the bottom and end up at the top. So using the leaf, think about where it's going to go and scratch the surface like that. Give it a good old scratch either side. Bit of slip on there, and just gently but firmly push it on there. Remember, we've got the newspaper on the other side. So giving it a good scratch like that, getting your slip, and that's quite a good one there. Don't worry too much about this kind of sloppy stuff because we can clean that up. And gets a bit repetitive, but in a nice way, because you're starting to see it all come together. Oh, I've already done that, forgot about that. Oh, I'm under pressure here, see? There we go. Just joining that. And I'm just having them going in the same direction so that I've got a flow of them coming down to the chin. There we go. And I'm trying to keep as much structure of the face so that I'm not losing that. And working up. I think I'll use another. What I'm also trying to do is to use kind of roughly the same size on each side so that I don't end up like that. So, oh, there we go. Mind you, I think what I'll do as well, which might make it a bit easier for you to see, is I tilt it. You've probably been shouting at me for the last age to do it. So make it like that so you can see. Okay, I can do that there. So, scratching it again. Bit of slip on there. And just working my way up. The main thing that I do not want is to see any of this stuff underneath, so just kind of building it up as I go along. Sorry, I should have prepped some of these by scratching them beforehand. That's good there. I might keep them. I'm thinking I want one at the top, so I'm just going to keep that one aside, and I want a kind of decorative one at the top to kind of finish it off, almost like a kind of, I don't know, whatever they call roof capping stone, something like that. So oh, wrong side. That one will have to go there. Use this one. Right and left, you know, get a bit lost sometimes. There we go. And I've scratched that one. Just going to pop that one there. That's the one's going on the top. Here's one here. Wait till we see. Those two are more alike, and then I'll finish with that one. And if I need that one, I'll use that one. Just move that in because it's not quite covering that head. And you can do more, you know. I'm just depends how much clay you have still left. So you can see I'm ending up with this kind of peculiar little bit. I probably can't see that. There's this slight little bit at the top that needs a cover. So I'm thinking, oh no, I'll go that one actually, because that one's probably a bit long. Looks a bit funny. So just going to scratch that there. Now, I'm going to have to scratch on top of here a little bit because there isn't somewhere for it to join to very readily. So a bit of slip there, bit there, and join that one on there. Now, I could, if I wanted to, just build some more on, you know, like that. Actually, I think that is quite nice. Kind of gives it a bit more of a oval shape, ellipse, something like that. So just give that a little scratch. See, this is the great thing. You can make things up as you go along. That's all creativity is enjoying the process and making changes as you go along. Never feeling stuck and rigid in, well, I planned this, so that's what I better do. And if I haven't done what I planned, then I've failed. So it's about the joy of the process and having some fun with it. So there she is at the moment. This one will have a lovely green glow. Oh, I forgot to put the eyebrows on the other one. I'll just run you through that really quickly. So with the eyebrows, what I did have was literally another sausage like that. Cut it in half, so you got 2 equal parts. Make one bit tapered at one end. Same on both of them. I bring back that other one, I'll just show you very briefly. I don't know where we are on time, that's why I'm here we go. Let's see if I can get this on an angle. I'll just get a wee board, hang on. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, here we are. Okay, so if we wanted to have the eyebrows on there, I'd just have a quick look. This fella's quite a scary looking one. I would just kind of scratch along there. Use your slip on there. And also to scratch and slip this bit. So what I'm doing is just smoothing that and then putting the scratching things in. Now, always your eyebrows start at the outside area of the fleshy bit of your nose. So where I've done that, that's too close in. And do the same on this side. That's too close in, and that's where they would start there. So I'm just going to put a bit of that there. And obviously, as we know, oh, I'd say that's even a bit too big and thick on there, but sure, we'll stick it on and we'll see where we go. So I'm just going to wiggle it on like that. Where's my little tool that I made? Here it is. And I would just join it on a little bit like that on the top and underneath. I can't really see at the angle that I'm at the underneath bit. So what I would do is that, and then I would either take the fork or the knife and then start to give those eyebrows some welly. And if you end up going, oh my word, what on earth is that? That's just a finer knife there. And then you might think, oh, it's just enormously huge and it's coming down too far in the eye. So what I'm going to do is take some of it off like that and just remove that bit. And I'm just going to scratch into it a little bit again. Let's have a look. Wow. Let's just say if they were my eyebrows, I'd be having someone over to try and help me, but it'll do for the minute. I think the other ones were maybe a little bit more, but the thing is that you just want to spend some time and take your time and enjoy it. Now, one more thing is you might say, well, but Karen, how are you going to hang it? You know, what you going to do? So the idea for hanging it is that I've got 2 bowls here, and hopefully we'll be able to do this. It might still be a little bit wet. I'm just trying to, I wouldn't do this now because it is all a little bit too wet, but I just wanted to explain. What I would do once this is dry enough to handle like that, so I would suggest probably after 3 or 4 hours, is that you take your knife around the area where the eye is, so kind of you can see where the eyes are there. So, and I would make a little crisscrossy thing there. You know what that's for, guys? It's for the slip. Hooray! A little bit there. And oh, I should, before I had that in my hand, I should have prepped this by scratching it and slipping it. Okay, so let's pretend I've scratched and slipped that. And then what I would do is just join that in there and do exactly the same with this side. Yep, you've guessed it. This is for us to then, where's my paintbrush? Here we go. For us to have a hole. Sorry. Keep forgetting you can't see, a hole there, and a hole there, because we are going to, when this is dry and fired, is we're going to be able to put a bit of wire through those two, and then that'll be how you hang it. Yeah, got me drift. I need to make sure that it's kind of flat like that, but also, sorry, I'll do that again. I need to make sure that it's flat, so it's not any taller than the rest of it, but I also need to make sure that there's enough of a hole so that it's going to be easy to thread something through there. So this is a bit wet, so rather than just going whoo, turning it over, the important thing is to put that back there, and then that aids it to turn it over again. But I would wait about 3 or 4 hours before it is dry. Oh, and of course, one of the most important things, always, 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 always write your name or your initials, whatever. Name is always better because I can recognize it much easier, because some of you have got the same initials. So hang on, let's see, I'm going to take this out from there.